Alright guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to jump on Call of Duty. If some of you want to jump on Call of Duty and you're down to get down, hit me up in the comment section where your gamer tag and I'll add you. One of the things that I don't do is I don't manufacturer bash. You never hear me talk trash about Toyota or Ford or Chevy or Dodge or Jaguar or anybody. I don't do that. It's not something that I do. And oftentimes, if you notice, I don't even like people's comments when they talk trash about other manufacturers in the comment section. It's not that I don't agree with what they're saying. Sometimes it's just something that I don't do. I don't partake in, and I can't trash another company or manufacturer on my channel just because I don't think it's the professional thing to do. They all have their faults. They all have their problems. I think Toyota is an amazing product, all the way up until mid-2000s, whenever the issues with oil control rings started, and then we get brand new ones that come in the shop with leaking front covers, oil pans. Their engines make noise and ticks and sounds and everything else. As technology changes and they're trying to get more power and fuel mileage out of stuff, this is the type of stuff that happens. And Ford has their issues as well. Ford rushed a lot of products out in a very short amount of time. COVID really destroyed a lot of stuff for a lot of manufacturers, and it's still affecting us today. There was a lot of programming issues off of the launch. There was a lot of panel fitment issues and stuff off of the launch. There's stuff we're still recovering from today, and I'm sure it'll work its way out. There's a lot of stuff from GM when they used the wrong transmission fluid. It was a hydroscopic transmission fluid, but transmissions aren't vented, so any of the moisture in the air was causing the increased level of transmission fluid. And I don't remember the exact explanation on it and stuff like that, but they had to go back and I don't know if it was recommend a recall for a different fluid or something like that. My roommate has a 2017 Cruze. It's been in the shop 4 times now. Keeps getting mass airflow issues, misfire codes. I had a video not too long ago where I went and actually bought a set of plugs for the car to do a tune-up to it, and right out of the parts room, 2 of the plugs were cracked. And I asked GM, I said, what's going on with this? And they said, well, it's quality control issues, because we have like 7 different dispensers, whatever they call it, tool jockeys or jobbers or something like that, whatever it is. There's no quality control. We're having a hard time figuring out quality control, batch IDs and stuff like that, where the bad parts are coming from. You're not the only one that got bad parts. We have technicians that have to come back as soon as they get parts when they inspect the spark plugs and stuff like that, and there's cracks all the way down the porcelain. Then there's the Dodge issues. I get Dodges in the shop all the time that people trade in because they don't want to have to go through the problem of fixing them with cylinder 5 and cylinder 8, cylinder 7, where lifters are collapsed, and the cylinder deactivation stuff is wreaking havoc on camshafts and lifters. And then you get to a point where you look at a lot of the Chevy stuff. We just had a guy, he's our wholesale guy, works on Mercedes, Jaguar, doesn't matter. He's working on a Porsche tonight that he bought, a used Porsche, one of those SUVs, those little turbocharged jobs, the really quick ones. He bought it at an auction because nobody knew how to fix it, and it was a starter that was tucked underneath the intake manifold, underneath the coolant tubes, all the way down in the valley. This guy can do this job in like no time because he's done it so much. Every manufacturer has their flaws, but they bought the Chevy at auction. It's a big 3500 HD. They bought the thing for 10 grand. It's got like the LS, the LS3 or something in it, but it's got the huge work box with the lights and everything. It's like a 2015 model, only has 60,000 miles on it. Lifter tick, and it would get worse once it would warm up. And he was like, you know what, I know exactly what that is. And sure enough, pulls the camshaft out of it. 2 of the camshaft lobes are worn down. The lifter's collapsed. It's got it's where like the lifter, the cylinder deactivation stuff or whatever it is. I don't know if that's what this thing had. Maybe this one didn't have that, but it still had that lifter collapsing issue, and the lifter turned, and it actually started to wear a big giant groove in the cam lobe. They all have their issues. The good old Scotty Kilmer bragging about Honda all the time and the CRV and stuff like that. And it's kind of ironic because I've done more phasers on Honda engines than I have done on the 1.5 liter EcoBoost stuff. My mother's, my father's, VCT solenoids and stuff on them. The day after I seen that video on him talking about how the CRV is the next best thing, since we had a CRV come in the shop for an oil change, and ears, Dumbo over here, I hear everything. They go to pull it out of the out of the stall. It's like a 2016 or 2017 model. They put it in reverse, go to back out, and I hear drrr, 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 drrr. And the more he hit it, the louder it got. I said, stop. Put it in neutral, hit the gas. Okay, nothing. So it's not lifters or anything. Put it in reverse, just barely tap the gas. Watch the belt tensioner bouncing off. And this thing's only got 40,000 miles on it. Belt tensioner's already wore out. Had to put a brand new belt and stuff on it. Look underneath it, oil pan's leaking. I mean, all these manufacturers have these issues. Brand new vehicles. And I can say some may be better than others, but all of them. That's why I don't manufacturer bash. That's why I typically don't participate in the comment section when people start bashing Ford or bashing Dodge. I don't do that. It's not my thing. I've had some badass Chevys, man. I remember when the first the LT motor. The first LT motor it was like a 93 or a 94 Camaro LT1. And I'm in my Fox body. And my Fox body was set up for the highway. I mean, this sucker would do 160 mile an hour, no problem at all, just climb all the way up. It was set up like a 273 or something, I don't know, whatever it was. GT40 upper and lower intake, ported, all this other stuff, you know, mass airflow, blah, 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 blah. This sucker would run. It wouldn't come out of the hole hard. But 40, 50 mile an hour, you step on it, it'd climb all the way to 160 mile an hour. That's what it was set up for. It was lowered, K-member, everything. I'm going to college one day, and I'm cruising on the interstate like 70 mile an hour. My buddy pulls up next to me, and I'd never driven or seen, you know, like a LT1 93, 94 Camaro run. I thought for sure I was going to dog the hell out of this guy. I was going to take off and leave him. I tell you what, up to about 110, 120 mile an hour, he was gone. And then that car started to top out, and mine crept right past him. And I said, my God, man, I didn't know them LT motors run like that. Well, the 5.0s ran good too. The LT motor was ahead of that design motor that I had with technology and stuff like that. It was a performer. What were they, like 330 horse, 340 horse or something like that? The car ran, and it ran good. I didn't go around dogging Ford after that. I realized I got my butt whooped. You know, it was just, mine was designed different. It wasn't as efficient as his, whatever it was. Still to this day, I think the mid-90s Chevy trucks are some of the best trucks on the road. The mid-90s Ford trucks are some of the best trucks on the road. Mid-90s to like mid-2000s and back. Say like mid-2000 back. That's when Chevy, Ford, even Dodge, with their intake manifold leaks and stuff, the lower belly pan and weak torque converters from time to time. And even Chevy with their, their fuel injection spider assembly that would leak inside the intake manifold. You know, those were some of the best trucks and most reliable vehicles during that era, then and previous. I want to say like mid-80s to like end of 2009, 2010. Ford had their little 3-valve timing chain issue and stuff like that, spark plugs blown out. They all had their problems. That's why I don't manufacturer bash, and that's why typically when people start talking trash about manufacturers in the comment section, you'll never see me get involved. You know the most reliable car? Y'all are going to probably think I'm goofy or something like that. Probably already think I'm goofy, but my buddy sold me a Nissan. It was a 1989 Nissan, a little 4-cylinder. It had it looked like it had a smashed-in rear end. What was it called? I forget the name of it now. It had the smashed-in rear end, and it had the more square lights where it had the lines on an angle. When I tell you I tried to kill that thing purposely, I tried to kill that thing purposely. I would beat the living shit out of that thing. It'd run out of oil, it'd run out of brake fluid all the time. I didn't care. I would drive the living piss out of that thing, and I would beat the piss out of it all the time. Never could get it to, never. Oil was always clean. I always just dumped more brake fluid in it until I was smart enough to figure out it was bleeding past the secondary into the brake booster and get sucked back into the engine. I thought the white smoke was cool. I was young, you know. I didn't know any better. I loved it. But what the hell was that Nissan called? Had the little T-tops you could flip up and put in the back seat. Ugly as hell. You know, I have a respect for all manufacturers. The 300Z, the Lady Z, when it first came here, amazing car. Amazing car. I just don't trash talk manufacturers. It's not my thing. So I appreciate y'all, but I wanted to explain why I don't get into those conversations, or I like those comments whenever people say stuff about other men. It's just it's not my thing. But I still love y'all. I still appreciate y'all being here. I just don't want to get involved with being unprofessional and doing that type of stuff because they all have their problems. Thank you.